Hi everyone, Michael from Bullion Now, bullionnow.com.au. So I suppose we could call this one of musings of a bullion dealer, but it's more some thoughts that I wanted to get out there because we're getting a lot of questions now about the Lunar release. So unless you've been living under a rock for these last couple of months, you'd be aware that Perth Mint is releasing their Lunar Dragon this year, and it's being released on November 6th. And you will be able to get it from Bullion Now. However, a lot of people are very, very aware of the supply constraints with it and lack of availability and limited numbers and all these types of things. So I thought it wouldn't be a bad idea to just do a bit of a video on how to best deal with particularly this Lunar Dragon release, but any of these types of releases that are going to be quite popular. So let's kick off with what is it? So every year, the Perth Mint release a coin that celebrates that particular animal for the Chinese New Year or the Lunar Year. So 2024 is Year of the Dragon. And we've seen previously 2023 was Year of the Rabbit. And believe it or not, I can't go any further back because I'll let you down. But, you know, they've been through the ox. We have the snake coming next year. There's all these types of things go through. They're a very, very popular release, and we quite frequently see their prices increase fairly rapidly afterwards with some of the sizes. Now, this is the third in the series. The third series that they've done. They've done Lunar Series 1, number 2, and now we're about a quarter of the way through Lunar Series 3. Limited productions on the 1 ounce size, both in the silver, the gold, and in the platinum. Now, that always causes quite a bit of a stir, because everyone wants to get hold of the limited edition and a lot of people ignore the other sizes. Absolutely, I think if you're collecting them, if you're stacking them, if you're wanting to purchase bullion coins at a close to bullion price that have the potential to build that collector premium that we talk about time and time again, this is absolutely one you should grab. This is not financial advice. This whole video is not financial advice. It's just thoughts and musings of a bullion dealer from over the years. Absolutely, you should get hold of it because we see particularly the platinum and the silver, but the gold does to a degree as well, but particularly the platinum and silver, you will see increase in price over a very short period of time. You will see them start to ratchet up over and above their spot price or their release price, irrespective of what spot does. So spot could go down, 10, 20%, on either of those, on any of those three metals. And once we've gone through that initial burst, so none of the dealers are really holding those 1 ounces any longer, you'll actually see the price won't come back. In fact, quite often it will actually increase even though spot's gone down. What's the best way to secure them? Again, this comes back to a video that we're about to release, and I've banged on about this a number of times. This comes back to the relationship with a good bullion dealer. You need to have a good relationship with a good bullion dealer so they are releasing these videos. They are talking to you about these things, making you aware of these things coming up. Now, unfortunately, due to the limited numbers, you're not going to be able to source all that you want, probably, through Bullion Now, particularly with the silver and the platinum, I'd suggest, because they are very limited numbers. Perth sends the vast majority of them, 90+% of them get sent straight overseas. There's very little left for the Australian market. And if you're in the overseas market, you will find there is not a lot that's sent to your country because they are spread all around the world. So this is the one time, and I hate doing this, I really hate doing this, but this is the one time where you grab them from wherever you can and be early on the mark. So if you've got if you're wanting them and you don't have a Bullion Now account on our website or on our phone system, I would strongly suggest you fill in that application. So it's pretty simple. You just go to our website and click new account and establish yourself a new account. Go onto the website, make it so it's there early, so you're not scrambling around trying to create the account while all of them are being sold to other people, and by the time you finish filling in all the required questions on your account, you miss out on the coin because they've all sold out. So get that done early, whether it's dealing with ourselves, Bullion Now, or whether you're going to go straight to the Perth Mint. Get your account information into them nice and early, so it's just a very seamless transaction. So that can go in your favour. Also, shop around a little bit. You'll actually see some of the prices bullion dealers aren't immune to greed. So you will actually see different bullion dealers will start ratcheting up the price relatively quickly, if not right at the very launch, because they know that while you might not buy them straight away, in a month's time they're going to be the only ones left with them in stock, so they can charge pretty much whatever they like. So do shop around, see if you can get those best prices that you can, secure them early. So they will be released on the 6th of November, and you'll see them starting to hit bullion dealers' websites from about 9 o'clock Australian Eastern Time, Eastern Standard Time. You'll start to see them hitting the web pages. The other sizes, though, are definitely ones that you need to consider. Now, I would suggest if you are on a limited budget, like most of us are, grab the 1 ounces first. Once you've got spare capacity, whether that's because you don't secure enough of the 1 ounces, or you've saved up a bit more further down the track, then I'd suggest looking at the other sizes in there. Now, some of them won't be released on release date, so we know that the 1/20th ounce gold isn't going to be released on release day. We know the 5 ounce silver and the kilo silver are not going to be released on release day. So you've got time to save up for those, but they are going to be the ones that the other sizes are going to be the sleepers. Now, we never know which one, but invariably at least one of those other sizes, even though they're listed as unlimited, it's a really bad term in this case, because they're actually limited by the 12 months. They will not be produced after about the 30th of June next year, because then they're spooling up for the 2025 release. And they're only effectively made to order, and only when they can fit the capacity in and around all the other production that the Perth Mint do. So you may find that, for example, the 1/2 ounce or the 5 ounce, they don't produce many of them. So when people in 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 years time say, I want to complete I've got all the 1 ounces, I want to complete the 1/2 ounce set of Lunar 3s or the 2 ounce set of Lunar 3s. They can't buy them from the dealers anymore, so now they're having to source them from the secondary market, from the collectors. And the collectors are saying, well, I don't want to get rid of mine unless you're going to offer me serious dollars. So you actually see quite often these other sizes are the ones that actually increase more in value than the 1 ounce, because everyone's jumped on the 1 ounce right from the very start. So don't be shy of saving a bit of money later on and coming back and securing those 1/2 ounce, the 2 ounce, the 5 ounce, and the other sizes, both in the gold and the silver. Alrighty, now the other thing that we need to talk about is the spike in price. Now, invariably, and I hinted at this a moment ago, invariably we see both dealers and scalpers, for want of a better term, very quickly secure their numbers of 1 ounces, and then they try and get a much higher price for them in the secondary market. Now, don't get suckered into that. Be very careful on release day. Purchase them at the release price. And if you want to know what that is, always refer back to Perth Mint or the likes of Bullion Now, because on release, we will not increase the price with all the ones that we get from Perth Mint. If we have to source from the secondary market, which we actually did last year with the release of the Rabbit, it was the Rabbit last year, wasn't it? Yeah, Rabbit. I doubted myself for a moment there. Yes, if we have to source from the secondary market later on, you will actually see that we're going to have to increase our prices. But everything that we get from the Perth Mint in this initial release, and moving forward, if we can get them from the Perth Mint, we will commit to releasing them at that release price. Now, that obviously does change subject to spot price movement, but the same premium over spot will be carried through the whole way through until we're out of the stock that we've managed to source from the Perth Mint. So if you ever want to know, am I overpaying for this during the release period, refer back to either the Bullion Now website or refer back to the Perth Mint website and go by those numbers. Because you will see them being charged, you'll see the prices will be charged higher with some dealers, but particularly in the secondary market, people will be trying to scalp them out. I would suggest that in the initial blush, so the initial, let's say 4 to 6 weeks, particularly with the silver and the platinum, that if you miss out on the initial release or you need more of them, just pause. Don't race in and go, I've got to grab them straight away. Because quite often what you find is the initial blush, you'll see this price rise quite high, and then you'll actually see everyone calm down a bit and you'll actually see the price ease back. Now, it probably will not come back to the initial release price, because people will say, well, hang on, that's what I paid. I'm not prepared to let them go at what I paid. I'm going to hang on to them. That's fair enough. Everyone wants to make a dollar. I get that. But it will come off that crazy frothy bubble that will occur in those first, say, 4 to 6 weeks. So just be patient. Worst case scenario, again, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't guarantee this. But in my knowledge of previous history, the worst case scenario is you're going to pay that inflated price at worst. It's not going to keep going up in this ever, rising trajectory. It will probably, worst case scenario, stay at that high and then plateau there, or more likely it will actually ease back and you will actually be able to pick them up again. But your worst case scenario in this case is that you will maintain that bubble moving forward. So take a deep breath, just wait. What we haven't talked about though, I suppose, is are these a good investment? I'm not going to tell you these are going to be a good investment. The design might flop. They might release massive numbers of them. They might go back and I don't know, all sorts of things can happen. So no one can guarantee they're going to be the money spinner that we all think they are going to be. However, going back through previous history, if you look at it, traditionally the Lunar release from the Perth Mint, and it's why it's the most popular one in the whole world, I would argue, against any of the other major mints. This one is the most popular one. It is the one that over time does seem to be that good investment where if you're selling into the secondary market in a year's time, 2 years' time, 5 years' time, 10 years' time, irrespective of what's happened to the spot price movement, you will get more for them. So what we tend to see is if spot drops down, their price at worst stays where it is or quite often increases. If spot jumps up, then they jump up by a corresponding amount and then quite often even more. So this is one of those times where I would argue that it's worth paying that extra premium over and above what you would pay for a bar, because if you're selling it into the secondary market, you are likely to get that higher price. Absolutely. If you're going to sell it back to a company like Bullion Now and you want a simple transaction, you're going to get spot price. We buy back at spot. A lot of other dealers don't. They buy at less than spot. We buy back at spot. So you are going to get that spot price for it. But if you can take the time and effort to sell into the secondary market, you are going to get more for it as the collectors become more and more involved in it. All right, that's it for now. Another extended musings of a bullion dealer. I hope that helps. There's a lot of excitement around the Lunar release. Join in, have a lot of fun with it. Don't get frustrated when you can't get things. Just understand that that's the way it is, and that's one of the attractions of it. Is the fact that if it wasn't difficult to get hold of, we wouldn't see those price increases moving forward. So enjoy it, have fun with it, get yourself prepared for it though, and we'll see you next time.